So in this video, we are going to talk about UI actions and what they actually are or what they do. But before we go on, let's talk about what we have done so far on our application. As you can see, we've been able to customize our application. Applicant information is here, all automatically populated based on the logged in user. We have the course details when the user just needs to enter the course URL, let's say for instance a Udemy course link. Automatically the course name, the course price, the course rating would be populated automatically. That is something we're also going to build using an API call. So what is a UI action? A UI action is a button or a link in ServiceNow that lets user explicitly trigger an action on a record, such as approving or cancelling or submitting a request. So what we want to do is we want to include a cancel application UI action or a button that will say cancel application. So I have already done this, so I'm just going to go through the steps of how I was able to achieve this. So let's just do a demo here. Let's say the user has entered motivation and also entered this, because all of these fields are mandatory fields. The current skill level of the user, let's say he's an intermediate. Now he's going to select this true or false, okay? And now when he or she submits, say save, okay, they need to enter the course URL, let's say udemy.com and all of that. So let's say submit or save. When the user saves, something is going to happen. Now you see update and delete. Now, mind you, the status would have to move. This is something we're also going to implement, like an approval, like a workflow to automate the status when a user submits a request or the form. The status should move from draft to submitted. So when the status is in submitted or pending a review, save. Now you're going to see here cancel application. This is something I have already built into my application. So this cancel application is a UI action. All right. So how did we implement this? So to set up a UI action, all you need to do is to right click, go to configure. Now go to UI actions. Now you see here we have the cancel application, the one that I already set up. So we're just going to explain what we have done inside of the UI action. So I'm going to click on the cancel application, and now you're going to see the form of how we're able to set up that particular cancel application. So let's go back here and see. Let's see. Okay, so look at the form. This is the cancel application, and look at how we're able to set up the cancel application. So the name of the UI action is cancel application on our table, which is our course request table, and also the action name is cancel underscore application. This is very important. This is going to come in handy when we get to the scripting part. Okay. And now you see all of these ones are all checked. It's active, show inserts, show updates. Also, you have to make sure that client is checked, because when the user clicks on cancel application, notice how we have like a message here saying, are you sure you want to cancel this application? You will not be able to edit it after cancellation. So you can either cancel it or you can say, okay. All right. So this is happening on the client side. All right, it's happening on the client side. That is why you need to check this client, because there is something the client needs to do or the user needs to do. He needs to carry out an action. All right. So you also need to just check the form button, because it's going to be a button, a form button. It has to be here. So yeah, I think that is it about this part. Now, when you come to the scripting part, now because of the fact that the user will need to click the button and carry out an action when the button is clicked, you want to, because when you click on this, when you check this client, you notice how we are going to see the on click is going to come up. But if it is not checked, then we don't have the on click. So we're going to leave it as checked on click. This is a function. All right. It's going to be useful in our script. Now the condition for when the cancel application button should come up. When do we need to see the cancel application? So this is the condition, okay? The current not requested by, if there is a logged in user and the status is set to submitted, or the status is set to pending review. What that means is we should be able to see this cancel application if our status is set to submitted or pending review. So we set it to pending review, we still have the cancel application. But if the status is in approved or draft, for instance, you'll notice when I save, we won't have the cancel application. So the condition is when it is either submitted or pending review. That is what this condition part is about. Now let us go to the script. The script part is pretty straightforward as well. It's pretty straightforward. This is just a function calling the onClick. All right. So it just runs when the user clicks the button. ServiceNow automatically calls the onClick for client UI actions. Okay, that is what this function is all about. Now, this is the client side confirmation. So when the button is clicked, it's going to say, "Are you sure you want to cancel this application?" You will not be able to edit after cancellation. So this is exactly what we have here, which I already showed us earlier. So you see when I click it, this message pops up. So that is from this if statement. Okay, so when that happens, when the user clicks on OK, what happens is it now moves on to the next phase, which is it now submits the form and triggers the cancel application, which is this UI action that we have here. This action name, cancel application. So when the user clicks on OK, what happens? The cancel application is now being triggered. Okay, that's exactly what happens. Now, the other side of the UI action is the server side logic. Okay, this just says it's going to set the status to cancelled, and it's going to say your application has been cancelled. You can still view it for reference. So let's just say cancel application and OK. So the application has been cancelled. Your application has been cancelled. You can still view it in reference. And also the status is set to cancelled. I'm also going to set all these fields to read only. So when an application is cancelled, all the fields will still be visible, but read only, so they cannot be edited anymore. We're going to do that with UI policies. Okay, so it is just a pretty straightforward JavaScript that calls the action of onClick, and also the server side of it is it sets the status to cancelled and also add info to say your application has been cancelled. And that is how you implement a UI action. So yeah, I hope this helps. I'm going to try to continue building. As I'm building, I'll be explaining the processes. Whatever feature I'm adding or customization, I will just keep adding it and making videos as I go with it. All right, I hope this was helpful. See you in the next video.